Well, welcome to another edition of Self Discovery Moments with Mika T. Today is a very interestingly happy day for me because one of my legendary favorite individuals in the whole wide world, Dr. Maya Angelou, has made her transition. So it's interesting probably to some of you that I would say this is a happy moment for me. But today, Maya made her transition at 86 years of age. And that is a pretty nice and generous life. And she was able to operate in this life in a capacity that I'll call full go, full spirit, full throttle, where now that she has passed away, we will all, those of us who followed her or that have ever read any of her words or seen her act or speak or dance or teach, will remember her forever for our throughout the rest of our lives. And because she made such a wonderful impact with her words will forever be with us in books and in libraries around the world forever and ever as long as they exist. So for today's moment, I am, have my love Halo Google avatar helping me out because I don't want to be sad. That's what I did earlier today. I was so torn apart when I found out via text message this morning that Maya Angelou passed. My phone literally blew up. You would think that I was an actual member of Maya's family, but I'm not. Though I claim to be, lots of people that have known me for years remember me from college days when anytime I did a pageant or a show or an oratory presentation, of course I would dig in my bucket and pull out Maya Angelou. But I never was pulling out Maya Angelou because those were the only poems that I knew. I was pulling out Maya because I had a special, a very personal connection with her and her words and her inspirations. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings actually was the first book that I ever read cover to cover. And I was wrapped into her world ever since. I connected with her from the standpoint of having emotional difficulties growing up. A lot of us ladies maybe have had struggles with issues with men or maybe being touched in wrong ways, and we've had our own struggles and battles with our parents, our mothers, our fathers. And Maya for me was willing to put her life out on the page. I always felt like just for me. She wrote her story. She talked about not being able to speak and being catatonic after being molested. She talks about being beaten. She talks about making her transition as a dancer, as a stripper lady, all the way to being a world renowned poet laureate for the United States of America. So in her story, each word, I was always there with her as a person who was somewhat emotionally spent, but Maya showed me that there was a way to come out. There was a way to not be catatonic forever. There was a way to pull somewhere from deep inside of your spirit and believe in yourself and show yourself and have a voice and have a way of expressing yourself to the world. So Maya is more than just a phenomenal woman poem that I recited in some pageants years ago. She was always a mother that I never knew, a mother that I never had a chance to actually come from her womb, but her words breathed so much life and energy into me that I took her on. And lots of my friends and family know how much I adore and I'm energized by the life that Maya Angelou lived. One of the individuals that contacted me today to spread the the happiness and the goodness that Maya has made her transition. She is no longer going to be here in her body form with us suffering because she was sick. She was dealing with illness, as some people do as when we move later on in life. So it was about possibly that time for her to be at rest, to rest her body and allow her spirit to transition on to do its next work. So instead of me holding on to my sadness this morning, I grabbed myself together quickly and said, hey, we have to transition and we have to continue on to do our work, take our rest, and then move on so that we can do more work in the universe, more work in the spirit world thereof. So one of the individuals that called me was actually with me when I went to see Maya Angelou speak at Hillside Center of Truth here in Atlanta. I was a frantic mess that morning. You would have thought that, I don't know, who do we all love so much? You would have thought that Michael Jackson was going to be performing the way I was acting. I was like rushing around. Okay, everyone, I can't be late. I have to be on time. You don't understand. Maya Angelou is going to be right there live in person for me to see her. So things started to happen as they do when you have your heart all set for something. But that day, I didn't let those things that were happening, attempting to keep me from hearing this wonderful orator, this doctor, the the creator, the inspirer, the producer, the director, the author. That is Maya Angelou. I was not going to miss the opportunity to hear her impart her words of wisdom live. And I did make it. I got to be there. So today is one of those days when instead of being sad, I can be happy and know that this is a woman who lived her life. This is a woman who I was able to glean from. And today's moment is really about asking the questions of myself as well as you, because these moments are for me and for you to discover yourself so that you can feel esteemed and confident and regal and royal as you go through your life and reach for your big dreams. For us ladies, Maya was an example. If you haven't read her works, I say take a moment to thumb through all of them, because if you are a woman, if you are a mom, if you are a teacher, if you are a healer, if you have any type of emotion left in your bones, you will be stirred up by and moved by her poems and as well as her essays and her books. So go and let Maya Angelou's estate make some money, okay? In this life, she wasn't one of the best-selling New York Times best-selling authors, and I think that for those of us who are admirers and understanders of her works, that it is our responsibility to purchase those works even now in her transition so that her estate will be a very wealthy estate and we can make sure that sales continue to roll on in, because even in death things are still about money. Now, I'm doing my best not to Maya too much, because Maya was one very humble woman in in my readings of her work, Mom and Me and Mom. She spoke of a time in Europe when she was there producing one of the very first African American casted as well as written films. And this was at a time when this African American films produced, written by African American, Black, Negro, I don't know what the term is right now, women were not, it didn't happen. It wasn't happening. And Maya was there in Europe for this wonderful opportunity to be the writer and an assistant on this film. And here comes one of the actors who had been selected for the film, runs in and he's down on a knee. Oh, Maya, I worship you so much. I adore you so much. And he is going into his revelry for her. And Maya asks him politely to please get up before I have to get down there with you, because I will have no man bending his knee to me. Because as soon as you put me too far up on this pedestal, you make it well too easy to knock me down. So just a moment of humbleness there, that she didn't live her life for us to say, oh, Maya, you are so great. She lived her life fulfilling her own destiny, her own mission, her own purpose. The way that Maya actually became an author, the way that she became the wonder that is Dr. Maya Angelou today, wasn't through necessarily hard work and the drudgery of what will it be if I make it? How can I make it big? It was actually through taking time and moments with herself to discover who she was, to discover what she was thankful for and what she loved in this life, and to understand that she had the right, the power, and the ability to spend time with those things. Maya spent time with the things that she loved, because those were things that energized her, like that would keep her from feeling desolate in her loneliness. You will, when you follow her readings, you'll hear her talk about her music and her love for dance, and how when she was in a marriage that the husband didn't want her to do these things. He didn't want her hanging out at music shops. He didn't want her even going to church where she could get a spiritual message and enjoy the music there. He didn't want her at dance class all the time in those skimpy dance outfits dancing for all of those people. But this was all about him and what he wanted. So when Maya sat with herself and her mother and family and understood that she was not being herself at all, she was living a very comfortable, two parent house, dog picket fence life, but she was not living her life. She was not living for herself. She was only living for a fantastical dream family life that had been created, I'm gonna say, by TV and others that put their perceptions of what's right and what's good and proper on the rest of us. So I decided to back out of that life. That was a nice, comfortable life, cush life. Why? Because it wasn't her. It didn't matter. Deep down in, when she sat with herself and took these moments of self discovery, she realized that there was no happiness found in being someone else. There was no happiness found in the land of pretend. Her real happiness found when she was connected to the things that she loved, and that was what would be more important in life. So today's moment, think about you. What is some random person gonna say on a Google Hangout about you when you make your transition? What do you want to be remembered for? What what would you do if someone told you that this was your last 24 hours? This was all you had left. What would you do? What would you do right now? What would you do right now while this hangout is going on? Do you feel like you have made the impact that you want to make on the world? Do you feel like you've made the impact that you want to make on your family? Do you feel like you've made the impact you want to make on yourself? Are you being who you really, truly know that you are capable of being? Are you being a person who you are honest with? Are you simply loving yourself? Can you go out in the next 24 hours and someone stand up and say, you know, she loved herself. She loved so much that she shared that love with others? Or are you really just hard and cold and stone because of experiences maybe that you've been through, that you haven't processed and dealt with, that make each day harder and tougher? So the way that you deal with people is harder and tougher. Who are you? if you only have 24 hours left, what's that 24 hours going to mean to you? How will you change the world? How will you change yourself? What will be the mark that you make in this 24 hours? I'm interested to hear what you come up with. For me, I decided I couldn't wallow in my grief for Maya, that I had to, within this 24 hours, share a story that could possibly, as Maya said, be a mirror for someone else. Maya Angelou says that she writes, she shared her stories because she recognized that others can see themselves through those words, through those windows. So without even knowing it, there is a piece of healing provided through her words to the world. So I'm hoping that today, without even knowing it, because I'm able to speak with you in this self discovery moment about Maya Angelou and the wonderful life that I understand her to have led, and what wonderful lives we all want to go out and transition out knowing that we have led, the life that individuals will talk about and revel about, and the life that we can be proud of right now in this very moment. So, who are you? What esteems you? And what are those big dreams? What's that big thing that no matter what, with only 24 hours left, you will do it? It's your time. You don't know how much more time you have. You don't know. Jim Rome says, don't don't say one day, because one day may never come. If you have an annual vacation that you plan with a girlfriend every year, and you're that vacation, let's say it's to a hiking resort, how many more years are you going to be able to hike? If you're like me, you're almost 40. That means that for about, I'm going to give myself 20 years on these knees. I don't know, because they're struggling already. 20 more years to hike, right? That's a long time. I can hike from 40 to about 60, and then it'll probably get tough for me to get up those hills. But that's not 20 more years. If I only go on an annual hiking trip, that's 20 more times. 20 more times. So we don't have time to waste being depressed. We don't have time to waste being sad. We don't have time to waste not being ourselves, not being who we are. And this now is taking me all off, but this is to the young lady who I heard getting stomped into my floor last night. My sister in spirit, Dr. Maya Angelou, has been there, done that. Just one time, though. See, sister, you don't go back there again, because when you visit that place again where you have to scream out and belt out for help, for rescue, you are giving yourself permission to be a victim. So don't sit up there and yell through the floor about how you need help, when your help is within. Your help is within you. Your help is every time you leave that apartment, you go and you stay with you. You own you and you love you and you stay out. You don't come back to get beat up and stomped on, because you love you enough. You have discovered you enough to know that you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are a highly esteemed individual who does not have to get beat up on, who does not have to get pummeled. And when they run out the house with no clothes, not even a bag, they keep running. You keep running and you keep going. You don't come back. You don't come back and be a victim. There's no one coming to rescue you but you. Now, these are things that I've learned through my life experience, but what has pushed me through to continue life is reading through my sister, Dr. Maya Angelou's experiences that she shares in her book, that I understand through actually going through, that you got to keep going. You got to be for you. You got to have you in front of anything else, and never ever be somebody's victim. See, Maya could have been somebody's victim. She could have not spoken for the rest of her life. There would be so many plays that would be unwritten, so many poems unwritten, so many words of healing, so many individuals that would not be touched, just because she decided to keep herself in victimhood and be someone's victim. But she didn't. She chose to move forward and live this wonderful life. Now, Before I move on with my Maya love for Maya, you lived a wonderful life. So rest assured that there are more of us out here that have some energy, that have some time left on this planet, that will continue to produce and spread love throughout the world. Now, before I go, I hope I haven't run out of time here. I want to um, just quickly go through one of Maya's poems that is a little less recognized. She has books and books of poetry, but you know, commercials let they what do they play for you? Still I Rise and Phenomenal Woman, which are definitely some of my favorites. But for this self discovery moment, I want us to take note that Maya was more than just those two poems, and she was more than just the older, elder figure in Tyler Perry's movies. This poem that I'll recite, that I'll read actually, because I do not know it, I am reading it. So just know that I am reading it on this self discovery moment. Let's see how much more, many more minutes do I have left before I get into this. I think I have enough. I only gave myself 20 minutes today. I know that I can talk. I don't know what I'm going to do when I invite guests to this show, because then I'm gonna have to make some space to talk. But today was all about Maya, so I feel that it's safe for me to talk for hours and hours on end about Maya Angelou, but I won't. So here we go. Self discovery moments with Mika T. What do you want to be remembered for when you make your transition? This moment is all about you, and this moment is all about Maya, a woman who we are remembering in her transition today. This poem is entitled Men. When I was young, I used to watch behind the curtains as men walked up and down the street. Wino men, old men, young men, sharp as mustard. See them? Men are always going somewhere. They knew I was there. 15 years old and starving for them. Under my window, they would pause, their shoulders high like the breast of a young girl, jacket slapping over those behinds. Men. One day they hold you in the palms of their hands, gentle as if you were the last raw egg in the world. Then they tighten up just a little. The first squeeze is nice, a quick hug, soft into your defenselessness. A little more. The hurt begins. Wrench out a smile that slides around the fear. When the air disappears, your mind pops, exploding fiercely, briefly, like the head of a kitchen match. Shattered. It is your juice that runs down their legs, staining their shoes. When the earth rights itself again and taste tries to return to the tongue, your body is slammed shut forever. No keys exist. Then the window draws full upon your mind there, just beyond the sway of the curtains, men walk, knowing something, going someplace. But this time, I will simply stand and watch. Maybe. Now, that is my sister, Maya. If you know her story, you know things that she went through with men. And if you've ever dealt with men and in a way that may have not been so healthy for you, you understand that attraction, that curiosity that sometimes is stomped on by abuse and mishandling. But as wonderful women, we rise, we shine. And we think and we heal that we will love. We will love. We know that we will love again. So as we see those jackets flapping in the wind, we say, hey, maybe. So love yourself, heal yourself, move on, and take some time to read Dr. Maya Angelou's works, read her poems, read her essays, and really engage in the woman that was Dr. Maya Angelou to help you engage in yourself because this is all about you, your discovery, so that you can esteem you and you can reach for your big dreams. So this is another self-discovery moment with Mika T. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can circle me on Google Plus. Add me to the, let's see, what circle should you add me to? Add me to the Motivated Ladies Circle because I am going to be here in your face, considering, convincing, inspiring you to discover you, own you, love you, so that you can be the biggest, baddest, best you. So subscribe, share. I think there's shared links at the bottom of this video. Share it with your friends, subscribe, and circle me on Google Plus. Look forward to seeing you or you seeing me on the next self discovery moment with Mika T. Have a good evening, and I'm out.